is compare what government land looks like to privately owned land. So there are so many arguments for this, and I really don't need to sell you on this because you already know this, but what we need to be energized for is the activity that has been coming about. Although I have been motivated to push the Campaign for Liberty, the organization, it actually, for legal and other reasons, is run by other people. And John Tate and Debbie Hopper and all the people doing all this work, and all of you who have all participated. And every day I hear of spontaneous things that people are doing. This is like a wildfire spreading, but this is a wonderful, positive wildfire, and it is spreading around the country, and it's growing, and we will have an influence. So it is us to be to remain totally energized and continue to do this. And we can't be discouraged because Congress is going to vote another stimulus bill next week. Because when the time comes, they will come to us and ask us. They have to, because they don't have the answers. They can't come up with a new paper currency. And they've done this in the past, and they had to resort to sound money. So they will come if we appear to have the answer. So the recommendation is that we study hard. I study every single day. I still read Mises and Rothbard, trying to understand better explanations of the marketplace, because a lot of people do ask me questions. And I want to learn it and understand it. So if you learn and study and make yourself available to solving these problems, somebody will use you. There will be a guiding hand. People are asking me every day. They'll come to my office, young kids. Oh, I love what you say. This is great, great, great. I want to do what you did. Tell me how to be a congressman. And I tell them one thing. Don't set your goal to be a congressman. It may end up that way. And I always tell the story about when I first decided to run for Congress many, many years ago. And I was in a very busy medical practice, but I was really energized by that breakdown of Bretton Woods. So in 1974, I told my wife I was going to run for Congress. And she said, well, what in the world would you want to do that for? I said, oh, I just want to talk about things, you know. In 1974, what Republican would ever want to run in 1974 in a Watergate year? So she said, well, it could be dangerous. I thought, how in the world could it be dangerous? All I'm going to do is go out and talk about it. She said, well, it's dangerous. You could end up getting elected. But I guaranteed her that wouldn't happen. I'm staying here at home. And you know, just the other day, one of my sons, who's now a physician, told me, he says, Dad, he said, I never told you this, but I really worried about that when you ran for Congress. He said, I thought you would leave and I would never see you again, or we'd have to move to Washington and all this thing, which never even crossed my mind about that. But no, the goal shouldn't be, you don't know what the exact goal is. Somebody might end up running for Congress, and that's okay. But I don't want people thinking at the age of 18 their goal is to be in Congress. Their goal ought to be to understand what freedom is all about, what our history is all about, and what our Constitution means. Years been criticized for not being aggressive enough, getting people to say this is it and grab the other members of Congress, do this, and blah, and I just don't believe it works. What does work though is waiting for them to ask the question, and I feel very good that they're asking more questions, and they will ask you more questions as time goes on. And I will have members. I had one member several years back. He would come, and he had been in Congress, and I went back in 96, and he'd come, and he was a young guy. He'd come down, and he'd sit beside me. He said, Ron, he says, why'd you vote that way? I'd explain it to him. Because it was usually one of those votes when I was voting by myself. So that was a little strange. Who's this crazy new guy that just came back into Congress? So he did that 3, 4, 5 times, and all of a sudden, he started voting up there. There were 2 of us. And he was an original member of the Liberty Caucus in Congress, and now he's the governor of South Carolina.